I bow hunt from beginning to end. Second weekend in September in Georgia to the second weekend in January here in Georgia. Like every time I go out, I got a bow. I don't pick up a rifle. I don't own a muzzle loader. But I agree with you. Like, you want to have like that extra time to get out there. But the other thing too, you got to think about, especially down here, where we are, Georgia and South Carolina, it's hot. It is hot, and you got all kind of snakes and critters and all kind of stuff, out that time of the year. And some people just don't want to be bothered with it. They want to wait till October to pick up the rifle, and even by that point, honestly, down here, it may or may not be that much cooler, but a lot of people don't like fooling with that early bow season. All right, another week. We came back. You just start stacking these weeks together. You do one, and then you do another, and then you do another. That's how you get to like 100 and something episodes, like the first time I came around. But we are back, another episode of Bryant Land Show. I am AB3. He is Antonio Marsh, hunting with the Marshes, and we got another great show today. But Antonio, I was telling you right before I started recording, when I was going through, and before I came back to you, I was like, hey, I got a hankering to do podcasting again. I see a lot of folks out here and doing marvelous work. Dreaded Archer, we do this too outdoors. I think old Cliff Cadet up there in New York done started another podcast, New York City Bow Hunting Podcast. A lot of guys, out doing the podcasting thing, and I started dusting off my files and stuff after I was, you said that you helped me out, and I came across the theme, and it was just like dusting off an old record.
The 8-track.
Yeah, it's like, let me go back in the files and pull out my 8-track, my reel to reel, for all you old school video folks, and start dusting it off. And it's like, once I heard, that tune, boy, it's just like, okay, yeah, it's time to get back in the game. So here we are, another week, another topic. But Mr. Marsh, what is going on in the palatial estate? 18,000 square foot palatial estate in Columbia, South Carolina. What's going on down there, man?
House has been 18,000, 20,000.
It ain't got up to 20 yet. That's what we got to gradually. I had to think about it because I was like, I think it's 14. I think I jumped the gun. We're at 14 now. It grows. It grows. You knock out a wall, you get rid of a bush, and you just add, another 200,000 feet here and there. But what's going on down there, man? How you doing? Everything good? Everybody all right?
I'm a humble, modest servant of the Lord.
Not servant of the.
Man, let me stop playing because
I was about to say, oh no, come on now, come on. We joke about a lot, but come on now, don't play with that, man. We talked about building funds and all kind of stuff last time. Like, don't play. But it is good, we back again. We got another topic to kind of go through. I started to say deep dive, but we really don't do like a lot of deep dives. This is basically when you and your buddy, y'all pull up and y'all just start talking about stuff. Like, we have a topic and we get to it, but we touch on anything and everything from the government, military, South Carolina football, Braves baseball, whatever, this comes up. This is very much a press record and see what happens in 30 or 40 minutes. Like, this is not a finely tuned, produced show here. We just this is just two buddies just sitting here talking. So
juggling oranges.
Yeah, you just juggling oranges, throwing darts, just throwing stuff up against the wall and see what stick and see what hits. But as always, make sure you guys are following, Hunting with the Marshes on Instagram, official Bryant Land for me everywhere, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that. So make sure you're checking us out, hitting that like button, hit that subscribe, that notification so you know when these podcasts are dropping. So, of course, continuing with the theme of our first two episodes, the government. The government is back at it again. Are you noticing the theme, Antonio? I mean, I know I'm not trying to get you in trouble because I know you got to go work, you
I
work,
gotta go to work tomorrow.
and yeah, you got to go to work, I ain't trying to get you in trouble. Our first podcast back, it was the federal government and, Agent Orange or whatever, 49, whatever y'all want to call that dude. Um, Last week, state governments, Tennessee and Alabama, they out there, they sticking they hands in the pot. This week here in Georgia, a couple of weeks ago, they passed the law allowing the gun hunters, the Orange Army, as they used to call it, when I lived in Wisconsin, early doe season. Now, before the last few years, there would be a primitive weapons season and a youth firearm season the second week in October here in Georgia, with gun season starting that third week of October here in Georgia. So it gives all of us archery hunters to get out there, bow hunters get out there, kind of do our damage before the Orange Army comes out there. Now, they have just passed here in Georgia. There is a 2-day, first weekend in October, 2-day antler list is how it's listed. Basically, doe only firearm season in the midst of archery season. They just passed it fresh here in Georgia, minus 13 counties that are up in the Georgia mountains and the metro Atlanta counties, which are bow only until the end of January. As a person who has never picked up a rifle, um, I'm just kind of like, okay, it's just, more competition in the woods. As a person, that has taken, several deer and hogs with a rifle, what say you? What do you think about what's going on down here across the border here in Georgia?
Well, it's kind of South Carolina also because I don't remember bow and rifle starting the same time, unless I just wasn't paying attention being in that hunt club.
Well, and I think it's the zone that you're in too, because the South Carolina zones, they are different. Now,
Yeah.
if I am correct, when South Carolina opens in August, like I think and the thing about South Carolina is August 15th, no matter what day it is, whether it's, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Tuesday, don't matter. August 15th is buck only. I believe you can do it with a rifle and with a bow, whichever region that you're in, whichever zone that you're in. And then September 15th is when the antlers, is when the does come into play. But that first month in South Carolina, the only thing that you can kill are bucks. And then now also in Southwest Georgia, along with this new legislation that they passed, new regulations that they passed, in Southwest, there's a few Southwest Georgia counties that you can only kill bucks that first weekend, the first couple of weekends of archery. So a lot of changes going on. Like I said, our friends at the DNR, which is also an extension of of the government, sticking their hands, twinking, tinkering, changing some stuff around. But getting people out in the woods earlier, I mean, I guess is a good thing.
Yeah. This is me being bow and rifle. I do think bow hunting should have a little bit more time before rifle gets out there.
Yeah,
This is my opinion
yeah,
because I think there's a lot of people don't bow hunt and a lot more people rifle hunt, and it's like when rifle season or whatever comes in play,
yeah.
they out there.
Oh yeah. It for lack of a better term, it becomes a war zone because all you hear whether it's muzzle loader, primitive weapons, they call muzzle loaders, and then you get the rifle guys. They come out there, and I mean, again, we don't, begrudge anybody what method that they want to use: crossbow, air gun, rifle, muzzle loader, bow. I bow hunt from beginning to the end. Second weekend in September in Georgia to the second weekend in January here in Georgia. Like every time I go out, I got a bow. I don't pick up a rifle. I don't own a muzzle loader. Um, but I agree with you. Like, you want to have like that extra time to get out there. But the other thing too, you got to think about, especially down here, where we are, Georgia and South Carolina, it's hot. And it is hot, and you got all kind of snakes and critters and all kind of stuff, out that time of the year. And some people just don't want to be bothered with it. They want to wait till October to pick up the rifle, and even by that point, honestly, down here, it may or may not be that much cooler, But a lot of people don't like fooling with that early bow season.
So what do you think the reason for that change really is?
I think to give more opportunity. I think the gun hunters, from what I was reading down here, a lot of gun hunters wanted, an opportunity earlier, get an earlier crack, at getting some venison. Like, despite what people may think, there are, honestly, in my opinion, I think there are more people that are quote unquote meat hunters than they are quote unquote trophy hunters, like that are out there looking for like that large buck, and they key in on one or two bucks um all year. Georgia, our limits is pretty, we got pretty big limits down here. It's 10 does and 2 bucks for the entire season. So theoretically you can kill 12 deer. So I think the gun guys, they just want to get out in the woods earlier, get a shot, get an early crack at some venison, and then, come back and then key in on their bucks or whatever it is that they want to do. Which again, hey, that's if that's what it is, then that's what it is. I am fortunate where I hunt. Um, I am, like I said, I'm bow only. I think my neighbors around me, and the one guy, he um he rifles. Um, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. And then we got a new neighbor, and I'm not sure what I'm not sure what he gonna do this year. I haven't talked to him yet, so but I think that's what it is. They just want to get out early and get a early crack at some venison.
Yeah, I can see that. And now I think about it, I've never been I'm not gonna say a trophy chasing a deer. I've been more like meat.
Right,
I'm there to eat.
right,
And that's why I look at a lot of, guys out here hunting, and they say, what they say that term is brown is down.
right. I'm not that bad. I'm not.
But I know some.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
Oh,
brown,
I definitely. Yeah, we both know some people now. If it step out and it ain't got no spots, and
you know
it's
what I'm saying? I mean, I like meat, but I'm not trying to go shoot everything. Now, if the season's getting ready to kind of like wind down a little bit, and I need to get something in the freezer,
yeah,
then if it decide dough, I'm going for it.
yeah, you ain't gonna be picky. Like you ain't gonna be picky. Like it, And again, it's just to your point. Like we're not opposed to it now. If, a nice buck steps out, or a trophy, or something considered a trophy, steps out or whatever. Then we ain't pulling no punches. But it's not like I learned. I think I spent, and you learned the same lesson too. Like I spent 1 year keying on like 1 or 2 bucks, and then next thing I know, it was the second weekend. It was the second weekend in January, the last weekend of the season, and I'm like, I've spent all season trying to key in on these 2 bucks. Shoot, I got to get something. I got to get a couple more deer in the freezer before there, because we blow through deer meat down here.
Yeah, I think my second year, I think I did that. And I said when I came back, I said,
Yeah,
never again, because I was letting a lot of bucks walk. And also being new, I was kind of hesitant about what to shoot and what not to shoot.
yeah, because in a club, right? Because when you in a hunt club like that, you got your like your regulations. Like in a lot of clubs, they have you know okay, you can only shoot like 8 points, or like the spread's got to be, a certain width, or the deer got to be a certain age. Like they have, they practice like what they call the QDA, quality deer management. So,
Mhm.
like when you try to shoot a buck, it's like, mature, an older buck, bigger buck, things of that nature. So that can really put, the handcuffs on you. And then God from Lee, man, when you brand new and you trying to figure all that stuff out, like it can, as if you don't have enough stuff going on, being out in the woods and being new, trying to figure out, okay, can I shoot this one? Is it gonna be $500? Is it over the penalty? Is it gonna get me in trouble? Like, a guy's gonna be mad because I shot, this. Like it's a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that first time out there, I was like looking like, how do I know if it's this spread or not? I don't know this stuff. I ain't never hunted. My first time out here. But then my wife go out there first time, and big old buck walks out, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure you can shoot that one.
Right.
I'm
It's
positive.
like, right. Agent on the hoof and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it can be very overwhelming, like as a new hunter and trying to figure that out. But like I said, guys and gals want to get out, earlier or whatever, then and so be it. I definitely, me personally, I try to find areas that are archery only. Like we have what we have down here called WMA's wildlife management areas, and we got a
Mhm.
couple down here that are archery only. And every year, I keep saying I'm going to go out there, especially towards the end of the season, um, and just try, go out there and try my luck on it. But it's like what we talked about before. When you only have like a limited amount of time to enjoy this sport, it's like you want to go out and you want to maximize and make the most out of it.
Yeah, you mentioned something before about you got people who just
Right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday hunters who were talking about with the corn,
Yep.
which I learned that when we were building that house with an apartment. I had nothing to do,
Right.
so it's kind of like I can hunt. And
Yep.
I noticed, and I think you said like years ago, you had a term that said, you can't kill them from the couch.
Oh yeah. No, you can't kill them. Right. You can't kill them from the couch. You got to maximize. Got to maximize that time. And one of the things I'm fortunate now, with my kids getting older and getting ready to go off to school and stuff, and knock on wood, I'm gonna have some free time on my hands, and I plan to be, in them woods trying to be on them deer. So
Yeah. And so what I was kind of leading to. So with that, when I got out there, I was getting out there more and more, then I was like, okay, I understand what a younger doe is, or older doe. I'm
yep,
looking at this spread.
yep,
I'm looking at this one. He made to be need to be cold. But it was like when you was out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was like I'm focused on trying to kill a deer.
right. You just trying, right. You just trying to make it happen, and and that's a great point. Like, as much as we talk about advantage and doing, the things that whether it's baiting, trail cameras, cell cameras, whatever, like trying to set yourself up for the success. Nothing beats that field time. Like you see stuff on camera, and the camera is only a small piece of the puzzle, right? Like you don't until you in that tree or in that blind, and you like, oh, so they do come from this way, or they do come from behind, and then they come like this way, and then they take off and they go, this other way. Like you look at a deer and you see it on camera, and then you see it in person, you're like, oh, well, that ain't what it was or whatever. Nothing beats that field time, like just being out there, that seat time, that chair time, just like anything else we do, right? Like the more experience, the more reps you get, the better at it you get.
Yeah, because with the doe, what was it, my second year. I mean, we had a meeting one time, and he said, "Hey guys, we got to get some of these doe out of here. We got too many." And I'm just like, "What the hell does that mean?" He's saying, "We got too many deer." Well, I was so confused, and then so we were
Hey,
on the topic of doe,
right.
and he's like, "Yeah, we got the buck to doe ratio was off," and I'm just like, "Man, y'all got to break this stuff down and explain it to me."
Right, right. And you can really get lost And, just like anything else, like overthinking it and whatnot. And like, I get it. And, if I had like, 2,000 acres or 200 acres or whatever, and had like like a farm, foreman or ranch foreman, like and his job is, know what's going on in the woods and all that stuff, whatnot, maybe. But again, for somebody that just enjoys going out, taking their camera, taking their bow, and trying to film their hunt and trying to, kill a deer to bring back and put in this freezer. Like sometimes you just get to overthinking it and you just like, okay, I just want to kill a deer. Like that's all I want to do. Like I just want to enjoy, my afternoon or my morning hunt, or afternoon hunt or whatever, and just get it done. So I mean, it all has its place.
Yeah, I do think the government's starting to get a little too involved in a lot of stuff that's going on because early years of hunting,
Starting to get in a little too involved.
well, they are. Think about like years of decades of hunting ago. There wasn't all this stuff, people was worried about.
Yeah.
Especially with the government coming in trying to mandate or how many days you can hunt, trying to take away land and, private land, public land. It's like you went back in the day, if you had a shotgun or a rifle, you just went in the woods and hunt.
Right. You
You
just
know?
went. Right. You just go up. And and to be fair, like it's good, to have some kind of like the limits and the bag limits and stuff like that because, us as humans, like we would go out. If there was no bag limits, if there wasn't no like seasons and stuff like that, like, we would just decimate the woods. Like there would be nothing out there. So on one hand,
I can see that.
they do, serve a purpose, and I don't want to be talking out of both sides of my mouth, but on one hand they do serve a purpose, but on the other hand it's like, all right, now relax. Like, okay, we need y'all for this, but we don't need y'all for, all the other stuff. You got to do this, especially on your own private land, where you got to do this and you got to do that. That's one of the things that always cracks me up with people. They be like, oh, well, you on your own land, you can do whatever you want. Well, I can do whatever I want that the state of Georgia lets me do.
Yeah.
Like there's consequences for you just doing whatever the hell you want.
And you know what? And the thing is, I have a problem with that because let's say if I own 5,000 acres of land, right,
Mhm.
in South Carolina, but the state of South Carolina tell me what I can kill on my land and what I can't. Something wrong with that.
I mean,
I'm paying taxes on that land.
you get no argument from me, no.
I bought that land, but the state telling me, let's say in February, if I say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to shoot a deer. Oh, we're going to arrest you,
Yeah,
but it's my land.
if they come out there and they find out about it on your 5,000 acres, then yeah, they
You know
gonna
what I'm saying?
find you. They're gonna take you. They might take away your privileges, whatever. You know, Yeah, no, that's like you said, that's how they work. They're gonna get their money.
But
They,
like you were saying before, they got to get their piece.
yeah, they gonna get their cut. Nah, how they get it and how they get it out of you is two different, things. But they gonna definitely get it. But you're right though. Like if you own your own property, and like I said, you pay taxes on it 2 and 3 times over. Like you pay for that land 2 or 3 times over. There's no two ways about that. Um, you should pretty much be left alone, but there's gonna be some regulation in there some way, somehow.
It's cricket.
You say what?
Cricket. My employers, I guess.
Yeah, yep, them your people. Now here's the thing. Has there ever I was gonna ask you, have you heard or then like any talks about like extended archery season or like archery only counties like in South Carolina? Because I'm
I
not,
haven't anything.
yeah, because I'm not familiar with them. Like here, that's one of the good things, for the folks that live in Metro Atlanta, hunting in Metro Atlanta counties, like Fulton, I think Henry County, DeKalb County, and then some of the counties, down here, I think like Columbia County has like extended archery. I know some of the counties in South Georgia they have like extended archery, but like the Metro Atlanta counties, and when I say extended archery, so like for most of us here in Georgia, the second week of January is the end of archery season. If you have extended archery or you have an archery only county, then it goes to January 31st. So like I would just be curious if there's any talk of anybody, any of the people in South Carolina have had like it made any kind of push for that, because and then you also too, a lot of that stuff ties into the insurance companies as well. Like that's the other part.
I don't know, but I can tell you this. Are you familiar with Tyvula Road up in Charlotte off of 77?
Yeah, Tyvola Road. Yeah.
Okay, if you go up on Tyvula Road and go to the left, if you're going towards, like, let's say you're taking a long way to the airport, or there's a, what's the golf place there? You go there, golf and drink.
Oh, the Top Golf.
Top Golf.
Yeah.
So if you make that left, there's a lot of woods there.
Yeah.
I promise you, every time I've been on there, I see like 10 deer off the side of that road over there. Every single time. In the evening,
Yep.
every single time.
Yeah. They know where they safe at. No. That's one thing for sure. They know where they safe at. Like just, like I don't know if you're familiar with like Seek One and like those guys, and I think it was another guy, it's like 4610 Productions or whatever. They film a lot of their hunts on YouTube, and they went through like a big craze. They were just killing these monster deer in Metro Atlanta. I mean, like 150, 60, 170-inch like bucks in Metro Atlanta, because they hide. I shouldn't say hide, but they live. They live in the city life. They know. And access to good food, access to growing and stuff, because at that time not a lot of people were hunting those deer, so they get to grow and get big in peace. And if you're lucky enough to have access to land in Metro Atlanta, there's a chance that you can kill one of them big boys.
Yeah, and you send it to me. That's all I can see it.
Yeah, like I said, they've done a whole thing on YouTube. It's actually pretty remarkable what they've been able to do. But I mean, they killing deer like in suburban, like 5 acres behind somebody's house. Like it's crazy. The what they call it, suburban. Yeah, the suburban deer or whatever. Like I said, it was a big craze probably about like 5 years ago.
I mean,
I'll send it to you.
I mean, what they feeding varsity hot dogs or something? I mean, what is deer eating? I'm just curious.
I don't.
Cause it like it's Iowa, we get cornfields,
right? Cornfields and all that
stuff.
good ag and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess eating birdseed, potted plants, and varsity hot dogs.
Think about it. What are they eating in downtown Atlanta?
Hey, like I said, I mean, you think about it. It's just like with humans, like you leave us alone and we don't. You don't have nobody bothering us. You ain't pressured. You ain't stressed. You get to grow and get old and maximize your full potential. Ain't like some of these deer down here where they know like that second weekend in September, like better tread lightly, because that Bryant kid gonna be out there with that camera and that bow. It's gonna be a couple of other people out there that gonna be shooting at them.
Yeah, but they're trying to figure out how to get all the deer from out of our neighborhood. And I gave a resolution, but they didn't like it.
Yeah, where you at? Well, them folks, they ain't gonna have y'all out there shooting deer and deer dying in people's driveways and in the little what they call it, in the veranda or whatever, in the little pool or whatnot. And
listen, I'm telling you, the year we moved in, the lady we were talking, she said, "Sir, we have a serious deer problem out here in this neighborhood." And I told her, I said, "Ma'am, do y'all have resolutions for it?" She says, "No, but we're taking suggestions." And I told her, I said, "Hey, I got some fellas that can fix this problem for you."
I know some shooters that can take care of this.
It won't involve any guns, rifles, or nothing. She said, really? I said, yeah, I'm dead serious. I said, I can get you 4 right now. And I told her, she said, yeah, this is probably not gonna work.
Yeah, I wonder what the city of Columbia. I'm pretty sure there's a law, some kind of resolution, something on the books in the city of Columbia for that. I would be curious to know that because yeah, every time it's funny. Every time I come to your house and we start talking about all this stuff, I just think about that episode of Duck Dynasty where they built the house and they was in the homeowners association. I forgot what you know what I'm talking about.
I remember that, yeah.
I forgot which son it was. It wasn't Willie. It was one of the other sons. And he was just like, I can't skin a deer in my front yard. It's like, what kind of place is this? And they went and they took the cookies. And I think they made Phil mad. So Phil got the cookies and then left the like HOA meeting or whatever. Every time I come out there, that's what I think about. Like I can just see you just standing in your garage, just trying to skin a deer, or letting they get out there, people turn loose and out there in that golf course, and they in a patch of woods hiding out. And these high dollar folks, they trying to golf and enjoy their, quote unquote retirement, and you got somebody like me sitting out there with 10 pounds of corn spread in a circle, waiting on the deer to come.
Let me tell you. So the first time I came back from hunting one time, and I went out to check my mailbox, and I had my camo and everything on, and I forgot I had my pistol on my side.
Yeah.
And the lady was walking down the street, and she went to the other side of the street and walked down. She waved. I was like, "Hi, how you doing?"
Like, I ain't want no trouble. Probably like, man, they fool crazy.
I didn't realize I looked. I was like, "Oh crap!"
Hey, it is funny. That's why, like I said, I want to be all the way out here in the middle of nowhere where I'm at, because like just being in a homeowners association and having all that house, but having somebody like 5 feet across from you or whatever, I'm just like, okay, like this ain't gonna work. Like, can you just imagine you sit here on your balcony, like second level balcony, and you out there, you got a patch of woods, like, behind your house or whatever, and you basically got a sweet setup where you can just pick them off of your balcony. And you got to go explain to your neighbor who's, like I said, 5 feet away or whatever it is. I mean, 5 feet is an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. You got to go explain to him why there is a trail of blood all the way through his lawn, and there's a deer curled up in his wife's rose bush, and you got to go over there. Like, sir, I just want to. I don't mean no harm. Don't mind this trail, this red carpet that is going through your lawn. When it rains, it'll go away. But I just need to get that. I just need to get that deer out of the bush. And oh no, thank you.
Yeah, I had thought about that out here. I was like, yeah, that probably wouldn't go down too well.
Yeah, boy, they have everybody. The homeowners association, Columbia PD, Richland County. Your boy Leon Lott probably be out there.
Yeah.
All live PD, all that. They probably all be out there.
Now we had a deer get stuck on a fence out here about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, I guess the deer must have been trying to jump over the fence and get caught. It was hanging there. So, matter of fact, the guy from Samsung was working on my microwave.
Okay.
And I heard like a shot go off. I was like, that sounds like a rifle. And I told him, I said, hey man, something ain't right. So I was looking at the window and I could tell something was going on, but I really couldn't see. So I told him, I said, hey man, I said, look, I don't want you to get startled, but I'm about to get my rifle because I want to look at my scope and see what's going on across the street.
Right.
No, on the other side of the golf course. He was like, oh no, man, you're good, man. He said, I hunt. He said, yeah, go ahead, man. So I got my rifle and I came down here and I looked and there was a deer hanging off the fence. I guess the fence I guess the state or post must
Yeah,
have
the
caught it.
state probably, yeah,
Yeah,
got
so I guess
it.
they had to shoot it to put it down, and
I was
then
about to say they probably yeah, they dispatched it so they could get it down and all that, put it out of misery. But you know, people like us, we're like, okay, where did that meat go?
so me, I said, man, so what you think gonna do that meat? So I'm looking through the scope. So he came over. He said, "Man, look through it." So he looked through it. He said, "Oh yeah." He said, "They're gonna take that deer."
Right, right. Because I think there's some kind of I know like if well again it's so funny like and I'm sure it doesn't always happen you know like some of the deepest parts of Georgia or South Carolina or whatever somebody come over a fresh roadkill they just gonna put that thing in the back and keep it going they'd be done skin it up before anybody even know but theoretically you supposed to report it to DNR so they can tag it or whatever so like I just wonder depending on who came out there to dispatch it, like, was it South Carolina? Do you remember? Was it South Carolina DNR or like was it some kind of like service or whatever? Like, I wonder who it was and if that meat made it to the proper went through the proper channels or just in somebody's cooler somewhere.
Honestly, I think it was the guys that worked on the golf course.
Mm. Yeah, so that thing ain't even made it there.
No.
That somebody had fresh backstrap on the grill later that
Oh,
night.
so let me tell you. So did you go to our last house? Before we moved here?
Yeah, I went by. Yeah, yep,
Okay, so I don't know if you remember that one road by Sand Hill, Rain Road, where you turn down.
yes, yep.
This is no joke. I was coming off of Rain, no, off of Clipson one day, made that right on Rain. Right as I made that right, it was a dude in a Toyota Camry. All I saw was the legs go in the back of the trunk. He slammed that thing down, get in that Camry, and he was gone. I said, he just put a deer in the back of that Camry. I know he did. In a Toyota Camry.
I mean, last year when my truck was out, I took two. I loaded up two deer in like a GMC Arcadia. Went right up, went right. I still got the pictures. Went right to the processor, unloaded. There was some guys. They was standing there, and it was just like, "Boy, you got and get it any way you can." And I was like, "Yep." It's like they ain't gonna, a little truck repair ain't gonna stop nothing. I forgot what I was getting done to my truck. Something was something. It put me down, but I had like a little GMC Arcadia, and I had my sled that I haul my deer out with, and popped the back of the trunk and slid it in the back. Took the picture and put the light on. Took the picture and closed it because you let down like how them things they have like the area and then they have like the third row back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Third row back seat down.
Arcadia.
slid, it, slid it in the back. So had the legs sticking out of the little sled or whatever. I took my little trophy photo or whatnot and went right on to the processor and backed it in there and took it out. No questions asked.
You know what?
I've seen guys haul them, like strap them down, like on top of their car and stuff, like on like the Camrys or the little Honda Civics or whatever. Man, hey, gotta
They
get it
swear
how you
up and,
get it now.
when they swear up and down here, if it ain't covered, then they gonna give you a ticket.
Really?
Yeah. They said make sure it's covered up when you're transporting, because you're subject to get a ticket.
Wow.
Now, whether do they stick to it, I don't know.
Right. Right. I think I would like to think that's one of those things like if you got just like a regular like like somebody that hunt or whatever, they'd be like, all right, whatever. But yeah, if you get one of them super cops, everything by the book, yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably write you up. They get a little quick money grab, right?
Yeah, because my buddy, he hit one with his truck. That was Thanksgiving. We were in an apartment. He hit one with his truck. And I think here you can call the state police and they'll come give you a ticket. But when he called them, not a ticket, but some kind of slip,
Yeah,
when he called them,
yeah. It
it
basically
was
like you get
like,
like a tag or something. Yeah.
he said they told him, they was like, it's Thanksgiving, we're not coming out there. So he called me and I said, well, I can give you a doe tag, man. We just take the tag and just drop it off at the processor. But it was like, yeah, just take it in and drop it off. I was like, Nah, that's a me your tag.
That is funny. Yeah, that is definitely some holiday. Like it's the holidays. Like we ain't. They said we ain't coming out there for that, man. Everybody alive? Okay, except
Yeah,
for the deer.
sure enough. It's like, I just got a deer. I'm just like, man, please. But he came, we went and dropped it off, and we went to go pick it up. And we came back. He was trying to give me half of the meat. I was like, for what? I said, man, I'm trying to get rid of the meat.
Yeah, you went through a period, boy. You could have been a commercial deer cooler. That I'm
Yeah.
trying to get back to that, boy. We done went through so much deer meat this year. Four. I killed four last season. I'm thinking like, okay, this will get me, to at least get me through the summer back to September. Like that's all. That's usually how I try to do it. Like, okay, it's like if I can get whatever I harvest by, or whatever I shoot. I hate that word harvest when it comes to deer. Like you harvest like, I mean, I know it's the PC thing to say, it's like, oh, harvest is this great deer. It's like, well, the deer ate the harvest because they was eating vegetables. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, we killed like four. I killed four last year. And shoot, boy, I look in the freezer the other day and I'm just like, dang, boy, you trying to stretch this thing. You got a couple more back straps, put them on the grill on the fourth, and then of course, I got some stew meat left.
You got some stew meat. I got some stew meat.
I got like three packs of stew meat left, so we probably get rid of those. Especially before my kids go back to college, because they definitely they the main culprits. They the one that tearing it up. But yeah, the point is, like this year, I always use when I first started, like I said, in the beginning, Georgia, we get, 10 does and 2 bucks. And I'm like, damn, who is killing 12 deer? Like, who needs 12 deer? But four wasn't enough. So I think I got to aim for like 8 and hope I can get, shoot for 8 and hopefully I can get 6. And then that'll get me through because like I said, if you like literally like I don't buy ground beef anymore, like, and you know how it goes. Like deer meat, you can anything that you can do with beef, you can do with deer meat, whether it's stew, spaghetti, tacos, lasagna, whatever. Like, so yeah, we got we gotta up
Look,
that number.
we'll be making some dip this weekend. We still have deer meat in that freezer.
That's crazy. See, y'all don't eat it regularly, so see y'all ain't eating enough. Y'all
Nah, it's me and her, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Yeah, that does make a difference. That does make
Now,
a difference.
so now you want to know somebody that's knocking that because you said who's out there killing 12 deer or so? My daughter boyfriend? Oh, they yeah, they put
That,
them down.
I haven't met that dude yet, but that dude is an A&E show waiting to happen.
I'm telling you, and he's getting close. He's getting close. When I'm telling you they put them down, them guys he hunt with, they put them down.
Between,
Brown, it is going down.
yeah, between deer and coon, like, cause I know cause don't he run dogs for coons and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that dude is an A&E show waiting to happen.
I'm telling you, he is. He's getting close. So
Oh,
everybody buy your daughter a coon dog. You know he has a TV show on the horizon.
that is
So
great. Yeah, let's talk about talk about gifts. That you tell about because you living it firsthand.
man, that's my
He
dude though,
came
man.
home with it, right? Is that what?
It was Christmas. He had a gift for her, but he was like, well, I really can't, you know, kind of like leave it out there overnight. And still, I'm kind of oblivious. Like it's a gift. You can't leave it in the car. You know what's wrong with it? So finally he went. Everybody went outside and looking. I said, "Is that a dog?" No, it's a coon dog. It's a walker. It was a walker something, I believe it was. I was like, you got my daughter a dog. But that's her dog. She loves that dog. And said, what's the dog name? Secret. And I said, the boy is genius by naming the dog too. Secret.
Well, it ain't no secret because ain't it done been out. She done they done been out a couple of times, ain't it? They done took it out and then had it, or he been training it like the tree coons or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. That's the terminology, tree and coons, all that. She know more than me. She know about hunting than I do right now, I think.
That is amazing. It's like, baby, got your own coon
Got her
dog.
own coon dog. She got her own shotgun now. I said, man, I can't tell her nothing.
Wow, little Annie Oakley boy out here got a coon. The only thing she need now is a little hat, the little coon hat with the little tail.
Bass fishing. I was like, look at this. That's what we're talking about. But that's good though, because we need more ladies in the outdoors.
Yeah, and you got so many, these couples and stuff that are out here. But that is cute though, like that. I don't know anybody that I've ever dated or dealt with that I could be like, you know what? Here's a coon dog, and they would just, and they would melt. That is definitely a unique gift. So there you go, fellas. You worried about rings and jewelry and stuff. Get that special lady in your life. Get her own coon dog and just
Coon dog, boy. We'll talk about.
just watch her melt. Man, it's getting late. We need to go ahead and shut this thing down. But we've done 3 of these so far. Antonio, how you feeling, man? Being back on the microphone, man.
Back on the mic. I'll probably be asleep on my government job tomorrow, but you know. I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? Dude had me up till 1 o'clock in the morning, man. We just feeling. We was in the studio.
I was about to say, out here in the studio, I know we sounded like some rappers. We've been in the studio all night.
Studio. It'd be like Usher. Yo, I'm in the studio.
Oh my God. They gave away a bobblehead to him a couple of days ago. I wasn't going out there to get no Usher bobblehead. It wasn't that serious for me, but it was a lot of people that went out there. The Braves had a Usher bobblehead. So kudos to Usher. But man, I appreciate you. Like I said, when I wanted to get back in here doing it, I said, it'd probably be better for me to have somebody to bounce stuff off of. So I appreciate your time. We've got 3 of these done, and then like I say, every week we'll see what next week holds, and we'll see if we come back, next week and keep this thing going. You can follow Antonio at Hunting with the Marshes. You can follow me at Official Bryant Land everywhere. Like I said, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're listening to us on
Retro throwback.
Yeah. Oh yeah, throwback hats. Go get your merch, Official Bryant Land at the Bryant Land Shop, officialbryantland.com. Like all of that stuff, man. We just appreciate y'all support, and then we're gonna come back, next week. Like I said, we'll see. It's week to week. This is week to week. Well, it's like a temp job, Antonio. This is week to week.
Contractors.
We'll see. We'll see if we do this again next week. But man, y'all stay safe out there.
All right, buddy.